The Southern African Development Community, or SADC, is a beacon of hope. It promises peace, it promises stability, it promises democracy. But promises mean nothing without action. SADC's inaction in the face of Zimbabwe's electoral crisis is deafening. It's time for SADC to live up to its promises or risk becoming irrelevant. SADC was formed to bring peace and prosperity to Southern Africa. It was formed to be a champion for democracy. But what happens when a member state betrays these values? What happens when elections are rigged, voices are silenced, and people are oppressed? SADC must answer these questions. The world is watching. Zimbabwe held elections in August 2023. The world hoped for a free and fair process. Instead, it witnessed a sham. The election was marred by voter suppression, intimidation, and violence. Opposition supporters were silenced, their voices were stolen, transparency was absent, ballot boxes were tampered with. The results lacked credibility. This wasn't democracy, this was a power grab. Zimbabwe's people deserve better. SADC must act. Within SADC, a group called the Troika holds special responsibility. Zambia, Tanzania and Namibia, these nations form the Troika. They are tasked with safeguarding SADC's principles. They are meant to be the guardians of democracy in the region. The eyes of the world are on them. Will they stand with the people of Zimbabwe, or will they stand by and watch democracy crumble? The Troika must act swiftly and decisively. Silence is complicity. Section 4, SADC's silence, a betrayal of democracy. SADC's response to Zimbabwe's electoral crisis has been weak. It has been muted. It has been a betrayal of the very principles SADC claims to uphold. Silence in the face of injustice is consent. SADC's inaction sends a dangerous message to the region. It tells other leaders that they too can rig elections and silence dissent without consequence. This silence undermines SADC's credibility. It undermines regional stability. It undermines democracy itself. SADC must break its silence. It must act now. Section 5. The world is watching. A call for international action. The international community cannot afford to be bystanders. We must stand with the people of Zimbabwe. We must demand accountability. Targeted sanctions against those responsible for the electoral fraud are essential. We must support civil society organizations in Zimbabwe. These organizations are the front line of democracy. They need our support. The world must speak with one voice. We must demand free and fair elections in Zimbabwe. We must demand democracy. Section 6. A time for action. SADC must choose democracy. The time for words is over. The time for action is now. SADC must choose a side. Will it stand with the oppressors or will it stand with the oppressed? SADC must condemn the flawed elections in Zimbabwe, demand accountability from the Zimbabwean government, deploy an intervention force to protect civilians, and suspend Zimbabwe from its ranks until free and fair elections are held. The choice is clear. SADC must choose democracy.